So imagine building this like billion-dollar state-of-the-art bank vault, right? And then intentionally refusing to install a remote-controlled lock.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think it was a massive oversight.
Exactly. Well, welcome to your custom deep dive. Today we're exploring the intersection of high-end AV tech and extreme cybersecurity. You've given us the spec sheet for this very specific and frankly fascinating piece of equipment, the WolfPack Secure 4x18 4K 60 Hz HDMI Matrix Switch.
Quite the mouthful, honestly.
Yeah, it is. But our mission today is to dig into these specs to understand what true hardware security actually looks like right now.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because usually when we look at tech specs, it's a brag sheet, right?
Okay, like more features, more connectivity.
Yeah, more apps, more everything. But this device proudly advertises everything it specifically can't do. Which begs the question, why would anyone want a completely dumb device? Well, it's a total paradox. It goes against almost every marketing instinct in modern technology today. But to understand the real value of this switch, you have to realize the stakes. Think about where a high-end AV matrix like this actually lives.
Oh, you mean like military situation rooms and stuff?
Exactly. Military bases, corporate boardrooms, intelligence centers. The video feeds being routed through this switch contain highly classified visuals. So if a hacker accesses the matrix, they can literally see what the generals are seeing on the screens.
Yeah.
That's why you have to examine those intentional limitations.
Right. I mean, just look at this list of what's missing. It specifically states no Wi-Fi, no apps, no RS232 port, and zero SAT6 cabling. It's just completely disconnected.
And what's fascinating here is the underlying philosophy. Yeah, we live in an era where everything is an internet-connected device, which basically means we are seeing constant, relentless IoT hacking. So true security at the highest levels requires absolute physical isolation.
Right.
They aren't just leaving out Wi-Fi to save money. They're systematically eliminating attack vectors.
But how do those specific omissions act as a shield? Like, for instance, why is a standard CD6 network cable considered a security threat?
That's a great question. By refusing to use standard CT6 network cables for control, they ensure that a bad actor just can't accidentally or intentionally bridge this AV switch to the building's main IT network.
Ah, that makes sense. And that RS232 port they left out.
Yeah, that's a classic serial connection.
Yeah.
Hackers often use those to manually interface with a system's core programming. Without it, you basically slam that door shut.
Yeah.
You can only control this switch from the physical front panel buttons or a dedicated LCD display.
So if someone did somehow gain physical access to that room, could they just plug in a laptop and rewrite its firmware? Wait, looking at the specs, I see it features a non-reprogrammable ROM. Does that mean the actual brain of this machine is just permanently frozen at the factory?
Exactly. It's read-only memory that literally cannot be rewritten remotely or locally. Even if an attacker physically plugs into the machine, they cannot change its fundamental code.
Wow, that is lockdown.
Plus, the data running through it uses HTTP 2.3, which is essentially military-grade encryption for your video signals. The internal data paths are strictly isolated from one another.
Okay, but what if someone just tries to crack the casing open to bypass all that?
Well, they plan for that too. The whole cabinet assembly is physically bolted together using specialized secure screws.
Wait, secure screws?
Yeah, and if someone manages to bypass those, there are physical anti-tamper switches inside. If the chassis is open unauthorized, those switches trip and immediately lock down the device. It's an absolute fortress.
Okay, let me push back on that for a second. If you build an absolute fortress bolted shut with secure screws, rigged with anti-tamper switches, and physically locked in a highly sensitive location, isn't that a total logistical nightmare?
How do you mean?
Like if one single HDMI port burns out, what do? It seems like you'd have to tear down the whole fortress just to fix a single wire.
Yeah, and that is exactly the trap most highly secure systems fall into. They become way too rigid to easily maintain. I mean, if you have to unbolt the whole secure chassis and send the entire encrypted matrix out for repair, you massively compromise the facility's security integrity.
Right, which defeats the whole purpose.
But here's the brilliant workaround detailed in the source. They use hot pluggable one-port slide-in cards.
So, extending our bank vault analogy, it's like a vault where if a single safety deposit box gets jammed, you can pull just that one box out through a secure little slot without ever having to swing the main vault door open.
Precisely. Instead of one massive vulnerable circuit board, every single HDMI input and output is its own separate piece.
Oh, that's incredibly smart.
Yeah, so if port fails, you just slide out that single card and swap it with a spare while the machine is actually still running. It's highly secure, but it completely solves the maintenance problem without breaking the physical isolation.
So, what does this all mean for you listening? Why should you care about a niche AV matrix switch?
I think it basically challenges our modern obsession with maximum connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
We've been trained to want everything networked all the time.
Right, smart home, smart everything.
Exactly. But this device proves that sometimes the smartest tech is the tech that absolutely refuses to talk to anyone.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, it reveals a major shift in how we define premium technology. For a long time, luxury meant having a device that talked to everything else effortlessly.
Seamless integration.
Exactly. But sometimes, the ultimate luxury and the absolute peak of data security is the ability to completely and totally disconnect from the network. It really brings us back to that bank vault. We just keep installing convenient remote-controlled locks on our own personal vaults just so we can check them from our phones. Which leaves you with this lingering thought. If the absolute highest level of data security requires completely abandoning wireless convenience and app controls, what does that actually say about the safety of those hyper-connected smart devices sitting in your living room right